Hi everyone, it's Kirei here with another layout for Hit Kit Club, and for this assignment I was tasked to focus on mixed media. So of course I'm using the fabulous colour kit which comes with that lovely pack of sort of tropical coloured Distress crayons, and then there's that wave stencil. I'm also using elements from the main kit and the embellishment kit. Okay, so what I was just showing you there was collage medium. I've actually prepped my white cardstock background with some collage medium first and let that dry before I'm applying the Distress crayons. Now, to be completely honest with you, I've never used these before, so I did do a little bit of research to understand how to use them and etc. So one of the things I found was that they do dry. So there is an element of blending with the Distress crayons, but there is more time to blend if you've prepped the paper beforehand with like a gel medium or collage medium. So that's what I've done here. And so I've scribbled them on, and then I'm literally just blending them with my fingers. You could blend them with a wet wipe. It would probably soften the colour a little more, make it a little bit more like watercolour, but I wanted to still keep the sort of intensity. So I'm just sort of blending the colours together here. Now, and then that's going to be my background effectively. So my whole focus is using the Distress crayons as a background. The one thing I wished I'd probably done was extended it a little further, but anyway, that's fine. So I'm bringing in this wave stencil now, and this is really cool. So I've got a wet wipe, and then effectively I'm just using the wet wipe over the stencil to lift off the color, because the Distress crayons are water reactive. So it means that you can lift color away. So I'm just using that over and I will do that across all of my coloured stripes to lift off the colour. And then what I realised was that there was a bit of colour left on the background. I've just realised that now, and I'm just stamping it off on the sides there, which I really like. So I will go back in at the top, and I'll do that as well. So I'm just wiping it off between goes. And then, of course, I did use my paper towel just to roll off some of the excess, because you've got the wet wipe. It does make it a little bit wet. So, yeah, there we go. And before I start to stamp down again, and then I just get that extra texture down the side, which looks quite cool. So, yeah, so it was actually lots of fun playing with Distress crayons. You can use them to watercolour. So you can scribble them and add water to them and colour things, and I will do an element of that. I do splatters. So yeah, and it's sort of like lots of fun. It's a bit like being a kid again, playing with your crayons. So yeah, I had a bit of fun playing with these. So and they're really, really beautiful colours, perfect for your summery photos. So my white cardstock is actually trimmed down. It's 11.5-inch square. And then I'm just going to use the pattern paper here. This comes in the main kit. It's called Frond. It's pink with the yellow suns on it. And I'm just going to use that as a border for my layout. And of course, I'm just going to distress the edges. And then if, as typical, my ATG guns run out. So yeah, bring in quickly the hammer. Not quite the same, but anyway, it will be fine. So get that stuck down, and then what do I do? Yes, this is where I'm going to bring in. So I'm just scribbling a little bit down onto my craft mat, and then I will spray with water, and I will use a brush to add splatters, colour, tone on tone, of course. So yeah, what I found was just have to be a bit careful, because they're crayons. You can get little bits of the crayon come in, so you want to make sure that's sort of blended as much as possible, so you don't have bits that end up on the layer. Yeah, so that's the other way. So I've smudged using my fingers, but as I said, you could also use a wet wipe to smudge it on, which would give a more watery, softer finish. You can watercolor, which effectively is what I'm doing here. I mean, you could add watercolor to stamps or something like that as well if you wanted to color in images. I'm obviously just using it to splatter. And then that's my background finished. And then I can start to add my layers over it. So I have the one photo. Here we go. It's now all dry. Just showing you some close up. Okay, and then so I've got my photo. I'm going to mount it here on another one of the papers, and this one is called Island Blooms. It's like a sort of soft aqua with little white dots on it. Again, of course, distress the edges. And then I brought in some of the wood veneer embellishments, and they are part of the main kit. And there's loads of them in the main kit. And I was looking at them and I thought, I think I can colour these, which is what I'm going to do in just a moment. I'm just layering up some of my papers here, though, first to create a little sort of photo cluster. And then I'll sort of work on my embellishments. And I do try to go to a tone on tone, sort of keep to the oranges and the yellows to the top, and then the sort of the pinks and the tealy blues at the bottom. So just playing around with where some of these elements are going to sit, because I'm going to colour them in the tone where they're going to sit, if you like, if you understand what I mean. Okay, so I basically just scribbled a little bit of the crayon on, and then I've just sort of blending it in with my fingers. That sort of just warms up the crayon and allows it to spread. So there you go. I've got the yellow. I mean, I've not prepped it. I haven't had to, make it a white background or anything like that. The colour's really intensive, which is great. The little pineapple, I've used a little bit of the yellow and a little bit of the orange, and then I'm adding a bit of the green and a bit of the teal to the top there, just blending those together. And then I am just wiping my finger, obviously, off between each one so I don't spoil the colours. Then I'm getting the sun and I'm adding the sort of orangey colour here. And then what else? Pink. Right, pink. And then I remembered I had actually coloured one of the little hearts previously with pink because I was testing it out. And then I do a couple more hearts in the blue and the teal. And then I think I'm done. I don't actually colour the arrow. I decided not to use it. So yeah. So that worked really well as well. So if you've got lots of wood veneers and you're thinking, how do I use them? Actually, these distress crayons are perfect because you can just colour them to match your layout. Still figuring out if the arrow is going to go on, but no, it definitely doesn't. Okay, so that part is done. Oh no, I decided to bring in another paper layer. Yes, so I've just got this pink, and it is, I forget which ones. I'm trying to remember which ones it's called. Is it? No, let me just check. It's the Summer Sizzle paper. Um, It's the one that actually has the florals on the other side. So I've used both sides of it effectively. Okay, so that's all set down. I'm pulling in some of the ephemera now, and these are the cardstock die cuts from the main kit, and I've picked out a selection of ones that I thought would work with my photo and with the colours that I was focusing on. And then I've got these beautiful vellum die cuts, and these come with the embellishment kit. And again, I'm working out, going sort of a bit of tone on tone, so going with the pinks, the oranges, the yellows, and then the sort of more tealy leaves and some of those slightly brighter blue. So I'm just playing around here. So this is how really my layouts come together. I'll work around the base, get my layout background figured out, and then I can work on my embellishment clusters. I'll sort of put it all together. Yeah, then what I do is I actually take a photo, and then so I know what I've done, pull it all apart, and then I can start to stick it down. So there we go. I've got my first cluster put together. And with vellum, when you add anything like a wet glue to it, it really sort of actually makes it curl. So I'm quite careful. I just add a little bit of wet glue to one end of it. So usually the end that is going to be, covered. So, and then you get a very natural almost curl to it, because I do like curling the edges of flowers and leaves anyway. But vellum sort of does it for you when you just add that little bit of glue. There you can see I've just added it to the end there. And yeah, that bit's hidden because vellum is obviously slightly see-through. So yeah, you don't want to see your glue. So yeah, just layering all the leaves together in this bottom cluster. Just pressing those down, making sure that they are stuck down. And then adding in some of the other embellishments. Now, photos, me and Joe, we were away for a week on a cruise in Europe, and this was on Santorini, and it was very hot. So Joe and I are cooling down with these yummy ice creams. So of course there's a few ice cream ephemera elements that I obviously had to add into the layout. So yeah, just tuck those in behind my wooden pineapple. And then I'm bringing in, I've got some of the phrases. Oh, I've got the cool puffy seals. And this one says hot, and it was definitely hot. It was very hot. Um, so I've got the puffy seal, and then I've brought in the Holiday Vibes title. And this is from the cardstock foam stickers, and that's in the main kit. So I'm going to add the Holiday Vibes down the bottom right there. And then I'm bringing in some of the chipboard flair, which come in the embellishment kit. I've got one, it just says summer, and that'll get tucked in there. And then I can start to, now I'm sort of pretty happy, I think, and I can start to get these stuck down. So my layouts, that's pretty much it, other than adding some journaling on the tag below, Holiday Vibes. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching the process. Definitely have some fun with the Distress crayons, because they were great to use, and try using them in the different ways that I have to create a background. So smudging them through a stencil with a wet wipe, watercolouring using splatters, or to colour the wood veneer die cut shapes. So yeah, actually really, really versatile. So the close-ups of my layout are coming up in just a moment, and you'll see all the details. If you aren't a subscriber, pop on over to the website, hitkitclub.net, where you'll find all the details on subscribing to the monthly kits, which means you will never miss out on the main kit every month. It's obviously exclusive. All the products are exclusive to HitKit and are not available anywhere else. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.